0501.
So you know they're scissoring.
Or what was the other one? The monk or the
Tribbing.
Yeah.
Tribbing.
The trouble with tribbing.
The trouble with tribbles.
Ooh.
That's a picture of Lonnie right there.
See.
All right.
Check this out.
You're just assessing her based on her looks there, Ricky.
When she gets a little older, she's
Isn't
gonna
that what
be.
we all do? Everyone just did that.
She's a little young, but when she gets older, she's gonna be a fox.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, yes.
There's the floor to open that bad boy up.
Finally, Gillian Anderson.
She said she felt like she'd done something wrong that night in the city. Like I must.
So this is
So here's the key to the basement.
It seems to the main mystery here involves the younger sister. Is that
The younger sister is very clearly the focal point here.
right?
And you're the older sister who clearly she would be most comfortable telling stuff to.
I see.
So it's most appropriate that you're the one as the older sister kind of going through here and searching through the house and trying to figure out, what is it that happened to my sister.
Oh, I got it. Parents had a fight over the VCRs.
They had a fight, yeah, and they
threw them all out. They realized on vacation. Kids upset. The parents were fighting. Hid in the basement.
You're wrong.
Boom.
You're wrong. They threw the VCRs out. The mother realized that she wanted to actually watch her VHS tapes.
Right.
The father got into a fight with her and said, we agreed that we were going to throw this shit out.
Right.
And then he punched her in the face, cut her head off, and then stored it up in the attic.
Right.
Do you know what?
And
But
dyed her
you know
hair
what's
red.
up? He was writing about a Laserdisc player. He's trying to get on the new shit,
Yeah.
and so when Owen was
ready.
paying attention, he went through the house in a rage and was like, "I'm sick of this magnetic tape. But we have optical media now."
Yeah.
And so he just ripped all of the VCRs out,
Dude, that's
threw
it.
them in the garbage.
This is not plausible. I can't even see the nutrition facts.
Yeah,
That's like, how many calories is that? I'm not going to eat
It is
that.
blur.
It's blurry calories.
It's like this amount of calories is the same amount of Japanese genitalia.
I like that little dude. This actually reminds me of a lot of your drawings that you used to do in high school, Chris.
Boy,
Quite. Remember how you drew Josh?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're just they have their little play notes back and forth. I guess I should actually hold these up for a second so people can read them.
Well, as long as you're
DMF
summarizing them, I
Well, yeah, okay, so I'm just trying to remember. Yeah, okay, so they both went to each other's families for Thanksgiving dinner.
lovely.
I guess on different days apparently.
Oh, so this is getting serious.
Yeah.
It's different now. I mean, we still hang out all the time like before.
Ooh.
But
The
now
furnace.
everyone else is around. Well, So you could say we're dating. But it's...
You're going to find all the VCRs in a box somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know.
Near the
here, I'll
furnace.
let this go
And I guess
past
that's the real
first.
difference. Now when we get off the phone or go home for the night, or it's just quiet and we're alone.
Notice all the language that she's using, the notion that like they have to do it quietly and alone and stuff.
Yeah.
There's this idea that you have to hide, obviously you have to hide your sexuality. But from whom? From your parents. Like
In the 90s, parents were like way less cool with that.
well, you notice how we normally think of the house as being this place of privacy.
Yeah.
We think that's when we think of like the private and the public, you think, well, when you're out in public, you're outside, you're exposed to other people. But when you go into the house, well, you're shielded from all of that. You can do whatever you want, and you can have your own identity as long as it's confined to the home. Well, what happens when that's not the case? What happens when, home isn't really a place where you can hide anything? Like, I mean, I'm going through here and I'm uncovering all of this stuff about my sister. And so it's like when we think about the whole logic of when you are gay and you have to hide your identity from people. It's like, as long as you don't throw it in my face, it's like, well, even in the home,
Right.
it doesn't matter what you do. It's still going to be in your face because that's your fucking identity.
That's who they
and
are,
unfortunately, it's
Right.
going to be, it's going to be all over the place. There's going to be evidence of it. You're already outed, So the idea of coming out is sort of a weird thing, right? Like you have to come out in relation to what? In relation to, being it's like your default position is you must be a heterosexual. And in fact, you noted that. That's why I was pointing that out. Like
Statistically, you probably are, though.
statistically, well, statistics are flawed because you don't know how many people report.
Yeah,
and
well.
sexuality is a spectrum.
You probably
I'm actually
are.
quoting The Office there, but so Joyce, a complete understanding. That's Richard Greenbrier. That's his. If you actually notice here, it says this. Oh, this is one of Granddad's books. Now, what does it mean that the grandfather was?
Wait, what's going on with that painting? Oh, someone.
That I believe is.
It's another
so-
dick.
So that's interesting. I mean, I did notice that before, but I don't exactly. You're right. Like, why is his head cut out of his own
Right.
portrait? You can't actually see the grandfather. You don't know what he looks like this entire thing. And what I find interesting is right. Let's see. Aw.
Things.
I like how there's just like this storm going on in the
I'm
background.
telling you, you got
And
too
on the
close.
back-
Oh, wait a minute, dear Terrence.
So thank you for sending along a copy of your newly published book. An author's first published manuscript is a momentous occasion. I read it this afternoon. I certainly recognize my son in the subject matter. An author's work is the externalization of that which he holds dear and that which he fears. And in this respect, I believe your work was successful. But the lens through which the personal shown was needlessly clouded by genre cliches and implausible dime store science fictional de ex machina. The great authors speak of their lives' milieu in clear and honest tones. The lens crystal that refracts their thoughts without distortion. I congratulate you on surviving the great ordeal that is publication, and rest assured that readers of your chosen genre will lap up copies hungrily, but I urge you to shed artifice. You can do better. Isn't that a fucked up thing to write
his
to yourself?
dad is not supportive.
No, but I mean,
sort of.
He's supportive.
He's backhandedly supportive.
Well, but I mean, that's the thing is what is it? What is this game doing with the notion of bullying? Who is being bullied and in what ways?
Right.
Like the father is clearly having to write.
Stupid sometimes.
So he feels like shit. He sees his picture. He cuts his face out of it.
I don't know. That actually is left up to the imagination.
That or he's trying so hard to become his dad because his dad is also like he basically was talking. He's clearly like some kind of an author himself.
Yeah.
And so I'm betting the dad cut his own dad's
So
face
that was
on
the
the
grandfather's picture, not his
Yeah,
own.
and then was wearing it and looking in the mirror and going like, "I am like you, Dad. I am you.
That's it precisely.
I am you."
The mom is Canadian.
You think he also like put it up to his genitals too, and he's like, "Look, Dad, I knew you were a dick." That's what I would do.
Yeah. So what that was, that journal entry, is Lonnie's family comes from a long line of people who have been shipped off to the army.
Okay.
And so she also is going to go to the army. She just sort of accepts that as something that she is supposed to do.
Yeah.
And so Sam was just now recounting how sad she is that Lonnie is going to be shipped off. And Lonnie said, well, why don't we just enjoy what we have while we have it? Which it's not as simple as that, obviously.
Yeah.
But I also should note, notice how we're in the basement and we're starting to get more and more evidence of their kind of relationship
Yeah.
as it's unfolding. And I think it is telling that it has to be locked up and shoved underneath the house. And it can't be in the open prying gaze of the parents and so on. It has to be hidden away here.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I think I actually remember this.
Where's
I
your
think
bobby pin though?
That's a good question. 60. I believe it's
I didn't even
1965.
say what level the lock was.
Is it 66? Is it 67? Is it 68? Is it 69? Shit. 64? It's one of these. There we go. It was like it was a year that's located somewhere, and I don't need to find that.
I see. JFK died in 1963.
Yeah, 1963.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's right. 11/22/63. Okay. So this is scrawled in such chicken scratch. It was really hard for me to read it when I have shitty eyesight anyway. But what that is it's a letter from his sister.
Stimpaks.
And by he, I mean Oscar Masson, the guy who was the former tenant here, the guy who owns the mansion. I don't think there's anything really back here, and the light does not.
Oh, there's
work.
fucking spiders.
Oh,
know.
get out of here.
It's a spider. It's a spider room.
Spooky spider room, everybody.
So right here, what Oscar Massen used to do was he owned a pharmacy, and this is morphine.
Ooh.
A bunch of morphine, some bottles, and then I think that there are.
Can you shoot
What
a
is
little of
this?
that bad boy?
I wish. Yeah, just shoot morphine and then walk really, really, really sluggishly through the house. So his sister he is. I think this is a letter from him to his sister. Yeah, and it returned it to sender. So this is in his handwriting.
I see.
And it's him trying to get in touch with her again and trying to get her to respond to him. But apparently,
It's a thick
she just
door.
refuses to do it.
Why is that? Do you,
Yeah, I had to actually look this up because I can't find it anywhere in the house or like mention of it. But what people were saying is that Oscar had molested apparently Katie's dad when he was younger. But I actually don't think that's the case. I think what it is that he was gay, and so he was.
Oh, the
and so
dad's gay?
That Oscar is gay. The guy who owned the mansion.
Okay.
That's one that seems a little bit more plausible to me because I couldn't find honestly any evidence that throughout the house that he was molested, but there were a bunch of people saying that, so I could be completely wrong about that.
I see.
But you know, so there's this like this sort of intergenerational bullying going on. Obviously, the grandfather.
Stick with the group on field trips, Katie.
These
There's
always
a
come up at
reason for
random
that.
times that I don't remember.
Lonnie and I snuck off on the side paths at Multnomah Falls and got a little lost.
Throw you
A lot
fuck you
lost.
lid.
Like,
Are those all different
for
papers,
hours.
or is it like a?
Right
Yeah,
before the
I don't
bus
know. I
left,
can't
we
like
found
pick
a
any of them
trail
up.
And came running down the path, soaked.
So yeah,
and
there you go.
covered
You
in
can
mud,
see it's a
shouting for the bus
pharmacy.
not to leave.
They put a lot
the
of.
sudden cell of.
Home. Mom and Dad said, "You didn't get into trouble like this before."
So, I
you
mean,
met that lonely girl."
Wait, is this
But I
this
don't
light
think
is
they know
on?
yeah.
about
No, I
us.
don't want it to be that dark.
Kids at school, though.
Wait, this a
really
light?
afraid
Are
that's
you a
whole other
light?
story.
Okay.
Stick with the group, Katie. Stick with
like
Kind of a
this is-
spooky game.
Yeah.
This is a big fucking house.
It is.
You know, actually, a lot of people were pissed off that it wasn't. It's like, what is this doing? What's this? Why is there this relationship with this girl that I have to hear about? Of course, you get the. Oh, do you guys know what a zine is? Do you
A
guys?
zine?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's like a little feminist magazine that people would sort of self-produce and then distribute on their own. So you can see
Yeah.
here, it's got little like kicking against the patriarchy.
well,
Great
I mean, there
Goodfellow
are
Ride
all
of
sorts of
95.
zines, not just feminist ones, but yes.
No, I won't get too far into it, but there's actually a lot of literature that talks about how, you know, lesbianism is not something that's as legible, and by that I mean like as culturally understandable as like the gay male identity. And the reason for that, I mean, when you think, it's kind of like when you think of the term race, what's the image that immediately pops into your head? It's probably like a black
car.
person.
Cars, yeah.
It's probably a
Cars.
black person.
Cars.
But if you think racism,
Oh, horses. Oh.
are you going to be dishonest?
No.
You had to think about that for a second.
No. When you said race, I thought of race
Yeah.
cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like, when I'm contextualizing it in terms of racism, like, if you thought of, like, the term, like, race or racism, like, and you had to attach
I really
a
don't.
person
I
to
really
it.
don't attach people to it. I don't know.
Ricky doesn't think of people. Images don't pop in Ricky's head.
No,
He doesn't actually have an imagination.
No.
I can agree with that.
I imagine that.
At any
believe
rate,
it or not.
at any rate, culturally, the default position, if you think of like a gay identity, you often think, you know, males. That's why
Yes.
that's why when you say, you know, homosexual or gay or anything like that, the first image that pops in your head is man.
And it's just like when you think of lesbian, the first thing you think of is
Of course, but the problem is that actually, so lesbianism wasn't actually admitted as a thing, not even a disease, until the early 20th century, I believe.
Wow.
A
And
disease?
yeah, it wasn't even admitted, like, people would not admit that it even existed. Yeah. So it was even less, it was actually even less understandable culturally than than being a gay man. Like you could more easily be a gay man.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's the code right there. Yeah. So we're back up here on the first floor. Anyway, the thing that I recently wrote about this is just the idea that like as a person, like we think of this as being like a very private space, but the problem with that thinking is that what does it mean that I'm going through and finding all this stuff out, and what does it mean that they have to keep on going into hiding?
Right.
Let's see. Oh, so they're just talking about each other's families. Like my mom is a psycho.
Whoa.
It's very visceral. Okay, well, we'll get through this little thing here. So,
Katie, you know how Mom and Dad are. Not exactly super open-minded about things. It feels like every minute I don't spend with Lonnie, I spend worrying about them finding out about us. And what would happen if they did? You know Dad's joke about the nunnery that he'd
At
tell
the same
whenever he
time,
brought boys
like
around the old
hiding
house?
stuff just willy-nilly
Why it
everywhere
wasn't me.
it also isn't a very effective means to hide stuff.
well, the reason, okay, so part of the way that they made this a little bit more plausible is that they're just now moving into the house still.
Right.
And they've been in the process of unpacking for a very long time. So shit just sort of gets lost in the shuffle. The reason I'm going back up here, oh, wait. No, there's something I wanted to do back here.